Hello students, today we are going to cover some of the schemes related to Ministry of Rural Development, which is very important for your examination. In prelims, one or two questions can be asked from here. So first we are going to pick up MGNREGA. We all know how important MGNREGA is for the examination. So on 12th of December, there was a news related to MGNREGA. I hope you are aware about it. The news is actually related to West Bengal. So if you're aware, there was a tussle going on between the central government and the government of West Bengal. What had happened in March 2022, the center had invoked section 27 of the MGNREGA Act 2005 to withhold funds to the state government due to corruption, mismanagement and bogus beneficiaries in West Bengal. So now on 12th of December, the central government has agreed to resume Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, that is MGNREGA, work in West Bengal subject to stringent conditions to ensure transparency and prevent corruption. So that is the news. I hope you are aware that what actually MGNREGA stands for and what is the vision of this particular scheme. The scheme is to ensure dignified village life, strengthen livelihood security, reduce distress migration, empower Panchayati Raj institutions and promote sustainable rural development with ecological focus. Right? So let's look at more key points. So the union budget has allocated 86,000 crore. That is the highest ever in this financial year 2025-26. So funds were released on July 23, 2025. These figures are very important. Rupees 45,783 including rupees 37,912 crore for wages. So the FY 2013-14 allocation was rupees 33,000 crore. So now you can see that the government is making significant allocation to the MGNREGA scheme. So employment generated in 2024-25 was 290.60 crore person days, 15.99 crore households registered, and in FY 2025-26, 99.79% households demanding work were provided employment. So let's look at women participation as well. Increased from 48% to 58.15%. So in 10 years, you can see that it has grown significantly with a 10% increase almost. So 440.7 lakh women participated, showing major contribution to rural women workforce and empowerment. So priority is given to SC/ST, women-headed households, landless labor, vulnerable groups. Okay. MGNREGA is basically a CSS, that is centrally sponsored scheme. So what it does, it is providing some form of social security in India, that is guaranteed rural employment. So let's look at the objectives. So it provides 100 days of wage employment per rural household with 50 additional days in drought or disaster affected areas. Okay, 50 days additional if it is a drought or disaster affected area. So if work is not provided within 15 days of application, households receive unemployment benefits, that is 25% of the minimum wage for the first 30 days and 50% thereafter. Right? Okay. So second thing is it will create durable productive assets which will be used by the village people. Then it will strengthen livelihood resource base. It will ensure proactive social inclusion because a lot of people will work together. Then there will be, because we have seen, right, SC/ST and women-headed households are being given priority. So what will happen? There will be social inclusion. And this will also help strengthen the Panchayati Raj institutions. Okay. So there is an important case which happened in Assam. So there was a construction of brick line distributor canal for irrigation due to water scarcity, and the result was that it And the result was that it improved the crop yield, water availability, and 1134 man days were generated. Skilled and semi skilled labor was used. Okay, now let's also look at what are the major technological reforms that has been done. Aadhaar based payment system, so that there is no mismanagement of funds. NMMS app, that is attendance plus geotag photos. GeoManrega. Okay, so 6.36 crore assets have been geotagged, whatever the Manrega workers have made. Then there is Yukt Dhara GIS portal, Jaldoot app, so that well water measurement can be done. Then there is Manrega app. Then there is secure software for cost estimation. Okay. This Jan Manrega app helps in facilitating attendance recording, then payment tracking, asset mapping, feedback submission, and also complaint resolution. Then we also have Narega soft information system that will record all activities under the Manrega. So let's look at digital and Aadhaar integration. Aadhaar seeded workers 13.45 crore up from 76 lakh in 2014. ABPS wage payments 13.05 crore workers, and e-payments were 99.94% wages via EFMS. Then we have asset creation profile. 86.98 lakh assets created by March 2025. Individual asset share 17.6%. 2013-14 57.05%. So you can see that it has increased significantly, right? Almost 40%. Agriculture and allied activities expenditure is 44.14% in March 2025, which is boosting rural productivity. So how is it working? It is also collaborating with other 13 ministries. Okay, you should remember the name: Women and Child Development, Panchayati Raj, BRO, and many other. It will support integrated rural infrastructure. Remember the important ones. Okay. Then Mission Amrit Sarovar. It was launched in financial year 2022 to create and rejuvenate 50,000 water bodies. So the achievement is that 68,000 plus have been completed, and major contribution to water conservation and climate resilience is taking place due to Mission Amrit Sarovar. Next is skill upgradation by Project Unnati. We'll discuss Unnati also in detail. So it was launched in December 2019, and it aims to skill around 2 lakh workers for transition to self or wage employment. And till March 2025, 90,894 candidates were trained. Monitoring, transparency and accountability, social audits twice a year, mandatory at Gram Panchayat level. Okay. Job card verification. But we all are aware that social audits are often ritualistic in India, with limited participation and inadequate auditor training, while workers fear retaliation, which discourage genuine participation and suppress the findings. So this is a major challenge when it comes to Manrega. Then we have job card verification, removing fake duplicate entries. 58,826 job cards were deleted in financial year 2024-25 after verification. Then there is measure for grievance redressal. IEC campaigns, Rozgar Divas, wall painting, Gram Sabha, participatory planning, then demand registration expansion, citizen information boards for transparency. All these have been put into place so that there could be more awareness measures. Next is key comparative achievements. Geotagged assets is 6.26 plus crore. E-payment has increased from 37% to 99.94%. So in 2025, government priority is that timely FTO generation should occur. That is 97.81% on time, 99.6% digital payments, improved governance, focus on agriculture and water conservation, strong internal and social audits. Acts and governance structure. Legal framework. Manrega Act 2025 was implemented by Ministry of Rural Development with 3-tier Panchayati Raj institution for planning and execution, social audits to state social audit units. We will now discuss what important things are there about MGNREGA. Okay, so it was enacted in 2005. So if you're interested, how did this MGNREGA come into place? Actually, several organizations and people played a key role here. They were fighting for the cause of the right to work, specifically in rural areas, especially the Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, MKSS. And there was a very renowned development economist, Jean Dress, and many others who had participated in this cause. This led to the realization that there should be something called right to work in place, and the government has to ensure that it will be assuring some minimum days of unskilled manual work to an adult member of a eligible rural household. So the MKSS initial efforts at organizing workers working on government drought relief programs spearheaded the way for sustained activism that led to the creation of MGNREGA. Okay, so it is applicable across India in rural areas, not in urban districts. Okay, and as I told you that non-compliance will attract penalties under section 25 of this act. Section 27 also becomes important because it was in news. I told you, right? Section 27 was violated in case of West Bengal government, and that is why it was in news. So remember that. I told you this. Within 15 days, you have to provide work. That is what I have told you. So if work is not assigned within 15 days, then what will happen? The applicant is entitled to receive an unemployment allowance. This allowance is 1/4 of the minimum wage for the first 30 days and a half for the following period. Okay. So minimum 14 days of continuous work is normally requested. Repeated application is not allowed. That is, it cannot overlap. Now, how you will be asking for jobs? The request can be made through Gram Rozgar Sahayak, Panchayat Secretary, Sarpanch, Ward Member, Anganwadi Worker or Mate, SHGs, CSEs, PGs under Day-NRLM, oral, written, phone, IVRS, online NREGA soft. I told you about this thing as well. So this are the things valid at GP, block, district level and Rozgar Divas or worksite. However, you can apply. Okay. Work is allotted within 15 days. There is guaranteed 100 days of employment. Additional 50 days for ST forest dwellers under FRA 2006 conditions and drought or natural calamity notified areas. They can go for additional 50 days. You should remember this. Then you have to issue dated receipt for every work demand, and digital or system generated receipts are acceptable. So Rozgar Divas is basically a monthly event for unmet demand and grievance redressal, and it is done by the Gram Panchayat, and demand data is uploaded on NREGA soft. Okay. Then e-muster roll is there, so mandatory e-attendance will happen. Paper muster only with MORD approval, and mobile attendance or biometric systems are allowed. So workers have the right to participate in Gram Sabha planning under section 16. An annual participatory planning cycle is kept at August to December. Actually, recently there was an update that the MGNREGA will be replaced by a new scheme. It will be renamed as Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission. That is VBG, Rozgar and Ajivika Mission G, that is Grameen Bill 2025. It proposes a sweeping overhaul of India's 2 decades old rural employment system by replacing MGNREGA. So while positioned as a modernized framework for rural jobs and livelihoods, Critics contend that the bill could significantly increase the financial and administrative burden on state governments, raising concerns over its feasibility and federal implication. So, if you look at it, now that the bill will be guaranteeing 125 days of wage employment per rural household per financial year, up from not less than 100 days. So, under Mandrea, we used to get 100 days, but in case of VBG Ram, we will be getting 125 days. And then additional 50 days in drought or disaster notified areas that we already had before, right? But now we will, for ST like forest dwellers, they will be getting 150 days. So the government is very much concerned about looking into the ST households. So they have increased this to 150. So VBG RAM G makes 125 days the standard statutory entitlement rather than an exception triggered by special circumstances. So what will happen is the central government shall determine state-wise normative allocation for each financial year based on prescribed objective parameters. Normative allocation is a system where central authority sets fixed principled limits for funding or resource distribution to states, regions shifting from demand-driven models. So let's see what happens with regards to this. I think since the question paper is already made, so maybe this is not that important, but keep it in mind. Now let's look at the implementing agencies. These are the implementing agencies. User association, local bodies notify NGOs, central or state government departments, Gram Panchayat, intermediate and district Panchayat. So minimum 50% works are given by the Gram Panchayat. Permissible work is defined under Schedule 1. MIS classification has 45 categories and 266 work types are there. So budget I already told you, rupees 86,000 crore, which is the highest ever, has been allocated, and rupees 45,783 crore has been released so far, out of which 37,912 crore rupees will be used for wage payments. So performance, we already looked at it. 290.60 crore person days have been generated. 15.99 crore registered households are there. If you look at what has been the significance of Mandrea and what it has been able to achieve, you will realize that Mandrea has helped to improve the infrastructure and natural resource base of the rural poor, which has had a positive impact on the environment. The program has also helped to improve the accessibility of basic services in rural areas such as water, sanitation and housing. Then it has compensated income loss. As per a study conducted by Azim Premji University across 4 states, Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, Mandrea helped in compensating 20 to 80% of the income loss incurred because of the COVID-19 induced lockdown. Then the goal is also to decrease migration from rural areas to urban areas by utilizing the untapped labor in rural areas. It seeks to improve the livelihoods of the rural poor and create durable assets such as wells, ponds, roads, and canals, which can be used by everyone, right? Then, unlike previous employment guarantee schemes, the Act aims to combat chronic poverty through a rights based approach, giving citizens a legal right to work. The program incorporates accountability measures to ensure compliance and transparency at all levels. Most of this data have already been discussed. Wage payments are occurring via e-payment, 99.94 people, 99.94%. Then 6.36 crore assets have been geotagged. Then there are the tools like GeoManrega, NMMS app, Jan Manrega, Jaldoot, mission Amrit Sarovar, we have talked about it. We will talk about project Unnati. Then awareness also we have talked about. Scheme significance is also what we have talked about. Okay, so what are the challenges? Basically, corruption. There have been instances of corruption, particularly in the form of embezzlement of funds and manipulation of records. Then limited job opportunities. Mandrea provides only 100 days of employment per person per year, which may not be enough to meet the needs of all rural citizens. Then there is lack of awareness also. Many rural citizens are not aware of their rights under Mandrea, and as a result, they do not take advantage of the benefits it offers. Next, there is bureaucratic delays. The program is often bogged down by bureaucratic delays and inefficiencies, making it difficult for citizens to access benefits in a timely manner. Then the quality of work. Many critics argue that the quality of work carried out under Mandrega is not up to the mark and work undertaken is not aligned to the local needs and priorities. Then there is limited financial inclusion. Uh, the wage rate is also low and there is a delay in payment of wages also. There is an issue about excessive centralization. It will diminish the role of local governance institutions, reducing their ability to address issues and serve their communities effectively. Now let's talk about Project Unnati. Now let's talk about Project Unnati. Project Unnati stands for Uttar Purva Transformative Industrialization Scheme. It came into effect on 2024 and it was used to foster industrial growth and employment generation in the northeastern region. So that's why the name Uttar Purva. Uh, so it will upgrade the skill base of Mandrega workers so that in northeast region a lot of employment could be generated. So it focuses on attracting new investments, nurturing existing ones, and promoting industries like renewable energy and electric vehicle of charging stations while restricting environmentally harmful sectors such as cement and plastic. So the household must have completed 100 days of Manrega in order to be eligible. So the eligibility is that the one adult member per eligible household, the age should be 18 to 35. Under Deen-Dayal Upadhyaya Grameen Kaushalya Yojana, then 18 to 45 years under special groups, rural self-employment training institutes, then there are KVKs. Aadhaar based registration, minimum 75% training attendance required for stipend. So DDU-GKY, that is Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Grameen Kaushal Yojana, is related to wage based employment skilling. It will help skilling the rural poor youth. Age should be 18 to 35. Then we have RSETI. It will help for self-employment based skilling. KVK is for agriculture skilling. So there is provision for stipend and it will be paid every 15 days if only the attendance is above 75%, and stipend will be given against wage loss for up to 100 days. Registration platform is Kaushal Panji app, which is linked with Narega Soft. The priority order is SC, then ST, then nomadic tribes, then denotified tribes, BPL families, women headed households, PWD headed households, then land reform beneficiaries, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen beneficiaries, and then Forest Act right beneficiaries, small marginal farmers after exhausting eligible categories. Training feature is free training, NSQF aligned courses, placement or settlement tracking, attendance integrated in MIS portal. Then for training people under DDU-GKY, rural youth 15 to 35 years, 45 years for special group, placement linked wage employment, minimum salary 6,000 per month. Training cost support rupees 37,439 to 1.86 lakh per person. Implemented through 471 PIAs and 1,443 training centers. Then we have training agency 2, that is RSETI, 18 to 45 years. It will be short term, it will be residential, and it will have 61 vocations. Entrepreneurship is there, processing is there, manufacturing is there, agriculture is there. 29.52 lakh have been trained and 19.95 lakh have settled. 2-year post training hand holding, and there will be alumni networks. And then training agency 3, that is KVK, 426 fully functional KVK, 6 scientific plus 3 technical staff, agri related trades, batch size 20 trainees, average duration is 30 days, free training via RKVY. So the stipend will get its fund, so the stipend fund will come from 100% central government. It will be released in 2 installments to state via capacity building and technical support head, FTO generated by PO or BDO under material component. Key technology platform is again NREGA Soft, Kaushal Panji app and Kaushal Pragati portal that will contain the placement data. MGNREGA divisions, fund release for stipend MIS monitoring, coordination with skill division, state review, financial compliance. Maximum 2 batches of 20 trainee each. Share training calendar and attendance list every 15 days. Then 60% fund utilization, bank statement, UC, audit reports, achievement report, expenditure statement. These are required for financial compliance for second installment. Next we have Deen Dayal Antodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission. Before that, I just want to ask you a very simple question, that MGNREGA was proposed in 1991. You have to tell me it was proposed by whom in the comment section. So now let's talk about Deen Dayal Antodaya Yojana. It was restructured from Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana SGSY in 2010. It has been renamed as Day-NRLM in 2016. It is centrally sponsored and it is one of the world's largest poverty alleviation program. The goal is to reduce rural poverty by enabling sustainable and diversified livelihoods via self-employment, skill wage employment, especially for women. So the key focus is on rural poor, especially women, SC/ST, small and marginal farmers, landless labor, person with disabilities, particularly vulnerable tribe groups, elderly, ultra poor households. This has been implemented across 28 states and 6 UTs. It has mobilized 10.05 crore rural households into 90.9 lakh SHGs as of October 2025. Community resource person. So women-led institutional cadre are Krishi Sakhis. This will have farm livelihood support. 4.62 crore Mahila Kisans have been covered. Pashu Sakhis, which is livestock extension, and 3.5 lakh have been deployed. Bank Sakhis, that is banking inclusion, 47,952 have been deployed. Bima Sakhis, banking correspondent Sakhis, etc. These are also there. Then the major achievement as of 2025 is that rupees 11 lakh crore formal credit disbursed to SHG since 2013-14. That is greater than 98% repayment rate. 4.62 crore women farmers supported under Mahila Kisan interventions. 3.74 lakh enterprises supported under entrepreneurship programs SVEP. 6,000 integrated farming clusters, 1.95 lakh producer groups benefiting 50 plus lakh women. Notable livelihood areas is sustainable agriculture, agroecology, non-timber forest produce, livestock development, micro and nano enterprises, credit banks and financial inclusion. SHGs receive collateral-free loans, interest subvention, capital support, bank Sakhi support, credit linkage and digital finance, boost last mile banking in rural areas. I already told you about DDU-GKY. Let's look at the data. 17.50 lakh have been trained, 11.48 lakh have been placed till June 2025. RSETI, that is Rural Self-Employment Training Institute. There also 56.69 lakh have been trained and 40.99 lakh settled in job or business. So top performing states are Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh in terms of SHG strength and household mobilization. Then capitalization support disbursed, Uttar Pradesh 1,23,326 lakh, Bihar 1,05,132 lakh. Then we have marketing and value addition support, national and state Saras Ajivika Melas. Then NIRD and PR conducted 44 advanced marketing TOT programs in last 3 years. So there are entitlement linkages to MGNREGA, then there is PMG, Jal Jeevan Mission, PM Kisan, PM FME, FPO scheme, KYC, TriFed. So the success indicators are SHGs evolved into micro entrepreneurs and producer groups, community behavior change, communication and nutrition, DV, education, sanitation, health, strong credit discipline, greater than 98 to 99% loan repayment. That's all for today's video. We will discuss rest of the schemes in upcoming videos.